And now I am going to turn it over to Ashanti to introduce our very, very special guest speaker this morning from corporate world to artist world.
Thank you so much, Melba. It is my delight to introduce you to Miss Sylvia Douglin. I've known her for over 30 years. She's a friend of mine. She's family, and she is an amazing woman. I mean, when I first met her, I just thought she was a morning. She's like a bright light with great energy. So I always enjoyed her spirit and her company when she came to visit us. And she's going to give us her story. She'll give us, share her story from going to the corporate world, where she was there for 30 years, and then she retired and she decided to go back to her roots she's a fashionista. She designs clothes. She's an artist. She's a mom. She's a grandmom. She is an all-around superwoman. So you all put your hands together for Miss Sylvia Douglin.
Well, thank you, thank you, thank you. I'm just trying to stay busy, idle hands, devil's workshop, you know how that goes. So, I try to stay busy. Thank you, Ashanti. As she said, we have known each other. We both have ties to Medford, Massachusetts, where I grew up. Most of my childhood was there. It started out in New York, and then we moved to Medford. And Ashanti has family in Medford, and I was there. So you see all these people, and it's all connected. Medford is West Medford is um, one of the premier Black communities in the United States. And back in the day, it's a middle class neighborhood, which was unusual at the time. So I moved there in 1958. So it was unusual for America at that time. So
Hmm.
we were both there and trying to stay busy and do stuff. But I could say I grew up in Medford and in and around Boston, and I graduated from high school in 1970. So things were just starting to change for women. Things were just starting to change for African American community. And but the whole time that we were growing up, from the time that my sister and I were 4 and 5 years old, we started going to the Arts Center in Boston when we were real little kids. And we were in art classes and all that kind of stuff ever since, as my ex-husband and Ashanti's ex-husband used to say, ever since, ever since. And it was always an undercurrent in my life with everything, is how do you put things together? How do you make things look nice? You somebody gives you something, and it's how are we going to lay this out so that it matters and it looks good. I spent as I was a teenager, I always wanted to do modeling, and at the time, being a Black person and modeling was, again, just lots of times you're the only Black person in whatever, you name it. And there we were. And it was cool. I went to John Robert Powers School, which I don't think is anymore. It was Powers and Barbizon back in the time. And it was an important step for me because I went to the class, you're doing some modeling around locally, but I also became a teacher there. And that was an important element for me to go through because, first of all, you learn to be up in front of people, interacting with people, which became very important later on in life because you have to be able to get away from yourself and step out there
Yeah.
and communicate with folks. So I went to John Robert Powers, and I worked at Harvard at the Institute of Politics back in the day. Um, and then you getting yourself started. And I got married to Charles Douglin and had a couple of kids. And you get at that point. I've talked to young people about, there was a foot in Donna Reed for those who are old enough. And I remember Donna Reed and Father Knows Best and all
Oh,
those kind of shows. You had one foot in that, and the other foot in the women's movement. It was a very unusual time. You're getting out there and you start working, and you sort of the world changed significantly in 1977 when they instituted the I think it was act where women's sports had to be um, as important as men's sports. And it
Mm-hmm.
literally changed the entire country at that point.
Mm.
So again, you're getting into things where women never used to be able to get in, and Black folks never used to be able to get in. And I started my career back then. And then I worked at Polaroid, which was fun. And one of the things that happened when I was at Polaroid, and I was just in my late 20s, early 30s, was I always liked to dress as Ashanti mentioned, and was in the modeling world and all that kind of stuff. And I always liked to dress, and that's a half to want to go to work and getting dressed and going. So um, they were trying to get dress codes and stuff at work, and they asked me to teach a class. And this was one of the first things that, I've never done this before. What are you asking me for? But I learned at that point to say yes. We spend too much time thinking, well, I can't do that, or nobody's going to accept me for this, and people are going to laugh. You got to get away from yourself and say yes. And I taught that class at Polaroid for a number of years. And then, but I was at secretary, which is what you did back in the day. Get in when you can fit
Yeah.
in.
Yeah.
And I was a secretary. And I was teaching this class, and we had different programs and things like that. And then a friend of mine um, worked for Xerox. For those who know Xerox,
I remember Xerox
there
and
you go.
Polaroid.
Yep. Um, Xerox was a premier place to work for anybody. If you worked for Xerox, if you worked for IBM, I don't
Mhm.
care who you were, that was one of the premier places. And she had recommended I come in and do sales for Xerox. Well, I don't have a college degree, and that was one of the requirements for Xerox. But they come in, I'm okay, they take you through these classes, questions, and whatnot, what you're supposed to do, and I could answer the question because when you're in an administrative role, you see how paper moves and
Yeah.
how things move and how people interact and how do you get departments to work together. And so it took me through these things, and then I guess she answered my questions. You want to sell fax machines?
Oh my.
So I was selling fax machines when they were going 6 minutes a page. And then they went to 2 minutes, and then you were really zooming along. Back in the day with the paper that felt kind of waxy and weird. Oh, gee. Anyways, so I worked for them for a number of years. I hate selling things. I absolutely hate selling. Oh my God. Then the kids finally, my son and daughter finally said, we don't need to eat this badly. You just, oh my goodness, I didn't like selling. But it was an important thing to go through. Again, as you go through life, you pick up these different things that you learn to do that go into your quiver of
Hmm.
when you get presented with something, I've had experience doing that, and I
Hmm.
tried that, and
Hmm.
so you get out and you start doing various things, and life um, kind of fills in. And so I think we spend a lot of time thinking we have to go down this particular path, and that's not necessarily true. You're given experiences so that you can grow, so
Hmm.
that you have something to call upon when you might need it.
Hmm.
So we went through that and sold for Xerox for a number of years. And I ended up going to Digital Equipment Corporation. All of these old companies that young people know, well, I don't know what that is. Digital Equipment eventually merged with Hewlett Packard, and it
Hmm.
was a big deal in Massachusetts. That's where they were. And I was doing some work with them, and they were looking for. This is around 1989, and so they were looking for Black people. So, okay, I can do that. They were looking for women. I can do that. And then they were looking for somebody who had trained before. I have done that because I trained it at did the image consulting stuff, and I had trained at John Robert Power School. And they took me into their program to do corporate training. And that was the beginning of
Oh,
what I did for since 1989 until I still do it sometimes. So that's been a calling. And I love training. When you're talking to people and the light comes on in their eyes, it's very, very important to be able to connect with people and talk with people. Again, all the things that go into the ability to do that kind of thing, being able to get up in front of people and model, because there's can be, I mean, throngs of people. To
mhm.
be able to learn to speak in front of people, to be able to um, hold your own and understand the job. How I got the job at Digital doing this training, I had set up this whole exercise, and we were going along, but people weren't getting it. So halfway through, I stopped and said, let's try this instead. And because I was able to pivot, is why they hired me. Because you
Oh,
don't know what's going to happen with your audience.
right, right.
Sometimes stuff happens.
Yeah.
And you have to be able to know enough to be able to get them to a point. We need you to hit these learning points along the way.
Mhm.
Um, but we're going to have to go a different route to get there. And I found that this worked for training. It also works in life. You've got a plan to say, no, we're going to do this, that, and the other thing. And then life says, no, something else going to happen. You got a weird administration or something comes up, kids or whatever. You got to be able to pivot.
The pivot.
You've got to be able to pivot. And it's important to pivot. And not only pivot, but keep your goal in mind. You can't lose sight of where you're trying to go. You still got to get there. So I was a corporate trainer for a number of years. I moved out to Seattle, which was interesting. A little too slow. I mean, for all the coffee that these people drink, I mean, really, let's go, people. Okay, we'll get you. I'm going back to the East Coast. I came back and I live right here. This is Metro DC, Silver Spring, Maryland. And I came down here and started to work at Fannie Mae in different places. And I was training, but also began writing training. And this is, again, how things weave together. Again, there's always this undercurrent of creativity and art. How do you make the class interesting? How do you maintain the look and feel of something so people can follow what you're trying to do so that it looks nice? I mean, people can put words on a page and yikes, I mean, really. There was somebody who did this class and because they thought, oh, this yellow is pretty. Well, nobody can see yellow. I mean, really. So anyhow, how do you put things out so people can see them and understand where you're going? How do you make it look good? Because the thing about how it looks is that if somebody sees something wrong, then they will look for something else that's wrong. So you really have to put it together. It needs to flow, it needs to be clear, and it needs to be attractive because we are all growing up on TV, and ads and things like that are never ugly. So if something is ugly, people pay attention to it and then look for something else to be wrong. So the art played a big role in that. And how do you write the class? How do you send out documents? I was writing classes, I was sending out documents for the various places that I worked. Sylvia, can you do the flyer? Sylvia, can you put this together? Sylvia, does this look right? Sylvia, what are we going to wear to the Christmas party? It's all those sorts of things. All these things, steadily weaving all these various pieces together. Now, throughout all this is the art. Through all this is the fashion. Through all that is sewing, because I was, before I got old and started shrinking, was 5'9.5", which they didn't have clothes for my size. So I've been sewing since I was a teenager too. and I make dresses, I make coats. I love sewing. I love that. Creating something out of nothing. I've always found that to be interesting, which also goes with writing training programs. What is my goal? To get them to understand this concept or this task, and how do I get them there? Out of nothing, we're going to make something. That always has run through my life ever since. So again, saying yes to things. I ended up at a management consulting firm in Virginia, and our client was EPA. And again, I don't have a college degree. I just know how to get information across to people. And we worked there for a number. It was a great company. We had lots of fun at that place. And one of their clients was Maristar Hotels. Maristar Hotels became interstate. Hotels like if you're Marriott or a Hilton or whatever is not owned by Marriott or Hilton anymore. Everything is franchised out. So they managed a bunch of companies, and so they hired me on Wednesday, and then on Thursday they called. I hadn't started working. They just said, "I want you to work for us." Thursday they called, "You want to go to California?" What do I go to California for? We need you to go out and train these people to train. Oh, say yes. Off I went, and training people for Maristar Hotels. And over the number of months, that was our client. So one of the guys in that class was the general manager at a hotel here, asked if I wanted to be the human resources director at the hotel. So I said, "Oh," and off I went. So I was HR director at the hotel and training from the corporate office to all the hotels. And at the time, they had 300 hotels. So we go back and forth in doing that until I finally went to corporate, where I'm now in charge of training for 300 hotels. So you're writing training, you're developing training, you're delivering, making sure training happens, because if you are at Hilton, there are certain things you have to do at Hilton, and the hotel management company has to make sure those things are happening. And that's where I've been in hospitality for since 2000. And I love it. You're writing training, delivering training, and all that. So I worked for Interstate Hotels, Hersha Hotels, where we built training and HR from the ground up, and then Crestline Hotels, the last place I worked. And I loved it. But after a while, I've done all I can do. So in between all of that, at the end of it, this place where I live now, I used to live on the other side of this complex. They had a fire in 2023. So I had to move to this side. So I'm sitting one day, I'm at 3 o'clock in the morning, realizing that I need something for over the television. So I need a face, because I love faces, as you can see. I love faces. And this whole thing came to me about making faces. The medium is cardboard, and I started making these faces. So I'm going to show you the faces, and you can see them out here, but I have a bunch of faces. I'm going to share my screen and show you what I make.
And I have one too.
Yours is on there. So again, you're making something out of nothing. So I made this cardboard face, showed it to a friend who showed it to a guy who bought it. And that's where I started selling the art. And but I still needed something now to go back over the television. I needed to my face. It's something to go and fit in that space. And I started making this art. Everybody see that okay?
Yeah.
Come on, machine, click. Thank you.
Oh, I like that one.
So this was This was the second one that I made, and this is for my daughter Carla has this one, and my son Joseph has this
Oh,
one.
Oh,
There is no paint on any of these. It is only paper and
cardboard.
forks, bamboo forks.
Oh, I like that
Beautiful,
one.
beautiful.
I
Oh, I
love
like that
these.
one too. I want
This
another
one,
one.
Ashanti, this one on the end with the hair up, that's named for Malika's stepsister.
I like that one. Here's the one I have, you guys.
She's gonna show. I'm gonna
Oh,
have her. She's on there. I learned how to make straight hair. These are grocery bags.
Oh, I like that one
The
too.
gold earring here is, you get from the pastry store, and they give you the gold cardboard that it sits on.
Oh
yes.
yeah.
That's what that is.
Oh yeah, yeah, like on a cake.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
And
like the bald head guy too with the glasses.
yep, that's his name is Joseph. They all get a name. This is Joseph. This is Carla. This is Sandy from Sandy Springs, where Zach went to school. But I
Uh-huh.
learned to braid, and I've been learning how to do the various pieces on the art.
Oh,
Oh, I love that.
This is
oh, look.
Coco, and she's
Oh,
back here.
Yeah, I
with the
saw her back there and I've been
mhm.
admiring.
That's
Oh.
Coco, and her ring is tinfoil, and
Uh-huh.
her ear piercing is tinfoil.
And
And
what's
this
her
is again,
hair?
her hair is grocery bags,
Oh,
um, gift bags.
how do you get it to curl?
You gotta cut everything. Every piece is cut individually, and you roll it like you do Christmas
Oh,
ribbon.
yeah, like the curly ribbon.
hmm
Oh, wow.
And this is somebody wanted Carla, my daughter Carla recommended I try a side view. So
Yeah,
this is Viola, and what you notice in Viola is got different colors here. This white streak that runs through
yeah,
is envelopes. The inside of a white envelope, so you
yeah,
can't see
Oh,
through. You turn
yeah,
it. That's
yeah.
what that is. There's cork. There's forks. There's gift bags, grocery bags, and this is a pie plate for her earring. The white on the eyes and the teeth is a Nine West shoebox.
wow.
So everything is individually cut. There's nothing that's pre-cut or anything.
That's amazing, Sil.
Then some people have asked me to do some um, likenesses. So this is my friend Denise. So you see Denise over here. Oh,
Wow.
smoke alarm again in the building. Golly. And then it's Spike Lee.
Oh, yeah.
Did Spike Lee buy it?
No, another person bought it. It was in an art show, and
Oh,
somebody bought
oh,
it.
okay. And that's mine.
That's
Oh,
Ashanti's. Now
nice.
Ashanti, because I wanted her to have locks, like Ashanti got, and see, she's showing how big it is. This is jute rope, and it's braided jute
Wow.
rope. Her earrings again, pie plates and cardboard and Nine West bags and that kind of stuff. Can you hear the fire alarm going off in here?
No.
Good.
Yeah, but still, I couldn't put the hands on. Wasn't sure how to put the hands on.
Well, give me a call. We'll
Okay,
FaceTime and I'll show you.
okay. And that one's over my TV too.
Oh, good. See, good
Yeah.
spot for these things.
Yay!
So the thing about the transition is you never know what you're going to be doing, where you're going to be, what skills are going to come to the fore. So as a result of doing the art, I started putting pieces in. I started putting pieces in art shows and whatnot. So here in Maryland, there's a show called Paint the Town that's over Labor Day weekend. and I put the things in there and started talking to people. And as a result, another say yes moment, they called and said, "Would you like to be president of Montgomery Art Association?"
What?
So, okay. Well, that's where I am now. And we're planning on some big things for the county and their arts programs and things like that. And it's a good blend again of the corporate approach because artists, we're just, oh, isn't that pretty? There's no structure.
Right.
Put this out there. What's your process? So the training, the corporate work, and the art have come together to the next chapter in life. And my big thing is when I talk to people is say yes. Don't worry about it. If it's brought to you, it's for you.
For you.
So, spirit kind of knows what it's doing. Together a whole world, they figured out something.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
give
Well,
yourself a chance and try new things and think about all the different things that you do in life and how they do come together.
connect. Yeah.
How those skills may be important down the road, and you can use a little bit of this and a little bit of that to go into your next chapter. And so many people stop and they retire and say, "Well, I'm 70 and I can't do anything." If you're 70, you had to be in jail for 20 years, you think of something you needed to do.
Right. Right. Right.
If
Well,
you're healthy, you got your wits about you, step into the next chapter and say yes.
I sent out some questions earlier this week to think about times that we have made transitions. And I don't know if you saw, I've been writing some things down that you said. And a couple of things came to me as I thought about those questions. And I like that you said you have to be able to pivot.
mm-hmm.
And I think about in today's world, and many of us have days we just want to give up. We're done for, we're gone. There's nothing we can do. No, we just have to pivot and
Right.
find another way
Right.
to get through this. But learn to pivot. And the terms, the say yes moment,
Yes.
taking a leap of faith, all of those to me are synonymous and kind of say the same thing depending on where you personally are coming from. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that very much because it resonates, I think, in my personal life as well as in my life of what's going around in my country right now. That we've got to pivot, we don't give up, we find another way, and we
Find
go
another
something
way.
new
Yeah.
and make
I'd like to
something that's
thank you
old
personally for
new
your
again.
message.
So thank you very much.
Very uplifting.
Thank you. Thank you.
What did you want to say, Tom? Why?
I wanted to thank Sylvia for her message. It's very uplifting, and it has a lot of parallels with some of my history also. I work for 20 corporate, which is upstate New York.
Mhm.
Yep.
It's
It
a
is
good
very.
place to go. Being in corporate really does give you a lot of skills. So
And also, so could you mention your coats that you do too? Show your coat. She does these jean jackets, and she can make it the way you want them, whatever you want on the whatever your joys are, whatever your likings. She can put all these things on the jacket with all represent who you are and what you like. See all that?
and they all have faces on them and paintings on them. Are there fire trucks rolling up here? Oh
Oh
Lord.
Lord. Is this your house going? Is this your place?
My building, but there's a bunch of apartments in here. Sometimes people will barbecue on a porch or something.
Oh, I see. I see.
And then
So that's
you
one of
walk
the,
down 8 flights, only have to walk back up 8.
oh gee.
So,
So that's one of the jackets. I think I'm going to order one
Mhm.
of those and put some butterflies and things like that. Maybe I put Coogee on there too.
You
But
gotta wear it on Sunday morning.
huh?
You gotta wear it on Sunday morning for us to
Oh
see.
yeah, I think I'm gonna get one of those because I got a jean jacket and I had it for like years, like probably 20 years. You know how something that's just like it's old but it's really good.
Yep. And it's got history with it.
Yeah, they got history and just fits you right. So I love this jean jacket, but there's nothing on it. So that would be cool to have all my little favorite things on the jacket. Yeah. Do you guys have any questions or any comments from this lovely
Yeah,
woman?
I had a question for Sylvia. Thanks, first of all, for your message. You mentioned Seattle didn't work for you. So I wanted you to talk a little bit about decisions that you made that weren't exactly the right decision, and how did you
Pivot.
rethink and recover and rebound from, because not every decision is going to be perfect.
Right. Right.
So that would be interesting to me if you could talk about that a little bit.
Okay. I moved out to Seattle because I've been studying metaphysics and stuff since the 90s. And we had a teacher out there called Ramtha, and we were out there with that. But it was a long way from my family. It was a long way from the East Coast and the East Coast culture. And I was living in Kent, Washington, and selling machines again. And Carla came out because Joseph said he ain't going out there. Those are my kids, Joseph and Carl. And we decided that this is not for us. So we literally packed the car up and said, we're out. We're going back, and we came back to Metro DC because I didn't want to go back to Massachusetts. And I driven from Massachusetts to Seattle, which was a wonderful experience. Oh my gosh. Really? This country is wonderful. We're crazy, but it's a wonderful country. And we packed up the car and we drove back. And sometimes, again, you have to pivot. You know, you've got some skills. You can always be an admin person. You can always go back into training. Again, one thing kind of leads to another. But to have the faith that says, and really look around and realize this is not for me. Out here is not where I want to be. And then to be able to, pack up your stuff and say next. Rather than to stay forever. I made a decision in 1985 and now I got to, really? Really?
He said, really?
Make a run for it
Right.
while you still can. And to give yourself permission to say that wasn't right.
Yes.
Really,
and that's okay. And that's okay. You tried it. You said yes. I don't really like it. I want to do something else. Pivot. Pivot. I like when you said, just say yes, even if you don't even know how you're going to do it. Oh yeah, sure, I'll do that. And then your mind's like, oh gee, how am I going to do that? But you said yes, and you're going to figure it out. And then it's like another stepping stone.
Yes.
Yeah.
And can commit yourself to doing it. If you say yes, if somebody brings something to you, if somebody asks you to do something, really understand what it is that they want you to be able to do, and to determine, do I have the skill set for that?
Do that.
And if you've got some of the skills and somebody has seen something in you that says you can do this, ask spirit. Take a minute. Go ask spirit. Is this the right thing? Yeah, go ahead. You'll be fine. You sure? You sure? Are you sure? Yeah. Yes. What you get going? Oh, thank you.
Now, when Sylvia says spirit, you know how we always say everyone looks at God in a different way. It's God, it's Allah, it's Jah, it's Yahweh. She says spirit, like the universe. The universe is the energy, So when she says that, which I'm cool with that too. I like all different ways of looking at the holy divine, I said you can see it that way too. There's all different ways of looking at it, and it's all correct, whatever you resonate with.
Yep.
So I just wanted
You've
to mention
got
that.
spirits and guides and guards that are looking out for you
guardian
all the
angels,
time.
Ancestors, all of that. I believe that.
Yep. They're busy.
Yeah, they're busy. Well, Sylvia, you are amazing. I always thought you were amazing from the very first time. Sylvia came to my wedding when I married Seth, and she's been just like this.
And the thing was a riot because we're at the reception. And people would, how did you know that? You know the bride and the groom? I said, I'm the groom's ex-wife. And these are his former in-laws. And people would look, and then they sort of just wander away. It was a riot. Hey,
It was. It's like, so because you know, you got an ex, I guess you're supposed to be mad at them or don't like them or whatever. But you know, Seth was a wonderful man, so you could not like him. He was a beautiful
Mhm.
human being, you know. So
Yep.
and Sylvia, you're just amazing. I love you. I care for you. You're a family. And you guys give a round of applause for her, please. It was beautiful.
Thank you. I enjoyed being here.